Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to go to my PowerPoint deck, and then Andrew, you can see that I'm sharing my screen though, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for joining for the last day of our kind of beginner user webinar series. This last day is all about the basic user experience, basic settings, and advanced settings, which is why Andrew's on the phone with us today, all about using your iGUIDEs. So again, one of the reasons you bought the Planetar system is so that you can capture your properties, capture your rooms, capture whatever you need to capture, and then pay for us to convert that into an iGUIDE and a floor plan for you. And then what can you do with it without us being involved? So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to do probably the first third of this presentation, and then Andrew is going to take over. We're just working on making sure he's going to be able to share his screen. So if you guys pop in, if they pop in and out, we're just trying to make sure we can organize and sync that correctly. Okay, so I'm going to now get started. So thanks for joining us, and we're going to kick right off. So for the first kind of 4 hours this week, we've kind of gone through all the basics and had lots of discussion around Survey Stitch, economics, or what do I need to purchase. And then yesterday was creating the iGUIDE. And obviously today's the culmination of that, where we're now going to be managing our iGUIDE or looking at it from the backside. And there are two sides of the iGUIDE, right? There is the presentation side, so that when you send this out to whoever you want to view it or be looking at it through, let's call it a web browser, that it's like the presentation view. Can you make me a co-host? I need to try and make Andrew a co-host. I don't know how to do that, Andrew, so we'll have to figure that out momentarily.
Okay.
Find him. Oh, promote to panelist. There you go. Now you should be able to.
Thanks for that.
Then you should be able to promote your co-host. And then I'm going to be able to make you the co-host. So I'll just say make a co-host. Do you want to make yes? And let me know when that share appears at the bottom of your screen.
Yep, everything looks good now.
Okay, great. Sorry for that, everyone. We're just getting organized here. So real quick summary of where I left off. So where we've got to this week is we're now on the last day, which is managing our iGUIDEs. And some of the things we're going to talk about are retrieving the content that you paid for, downloading your data. A lot of people don't do that, but I always recommend you do that. And it is an option for you for embedding in your website or being able to use if you're out on the job and don't have internet access or don't want to rely on internet access. You can download your whole iGUIDE accordingly. And then there's some advanced things that Andrew is going to go through regarding duplicating iGUIDEs, locking and unlocking, changing some panos and things in the gallery, and all sorts like that. So this is now the culmination of all your hard work of scanning, putting it together, uploading it, saying I want to, let's say, an iGUIDE standard and a DWG file as an example. I've done all that. Now I've waited my allotted time, and that's what we talked about yesterday. On most properties, it's about, most properties, let's say under 10,000 square feet, it's about an average of 10 to 11 hour turnaround, but sometimes depending on our volume, it may be a little bit longer, and then you will then get a link. So let's just get into it. Again, I'm Rob Johnston. I've been here all week. And I'm going to be going through retrieving your content and making your iGUIDE available offline. And then Andrew from our customer success team is going to be going through quite a wide range of things that you can do with the iGUIDE on the management side, sharing side, and customization side. Okay, so for my part, once we're done, once our drafting team has assembled all the data, assembled the 3D tour, assembled the environment, assembled the tags, created the drafted floors across your property, you will get an email notification saying that your property is now available for viewing. We don't email you the files directly. So for any new users out there, if you've asked for a DWG file or an ESX file, we provide you a link to get that file. We don't email those files directly because some of them can get quite large, and you can always go back and download. So don't be afraid that, you know, I know there's a lot of cost conscious people that once it's on the platform, we've drafted it for you, you can always re-download. You've already paid us to do all the work. It's just a place to store that data, and it's there when you need it. So you will get a link, an email to link to the exact property, or when you log into your iGUIDE portal, you will see all of your properties listed there, and you can then choose to edit that one. So there's a couple ways to get at it, and we'll just kind of go in from there. So if you haven't already, I'm sure most of you have created one, but you'll notice that when you log in, you will see your list of all your iGUIDEs, and this is the one we're going to play with here. This is the one that we played with and created yesterday. Remember, I created one called Unit 1, and I put _Rob test kind of in my my address for my unit, just because 560 Parkside is our actual address. And you can imagine with all the test and demo ones that we do, that we probably have, 500 iGUIDEs for this property. So you're always looking for unique little ways to just identify your own for demo purposes, and you have to, or usable purposes, and you have to do the same. So you can jump right into it. So I'm just going to now close out and just go through here we are now in the web browser. I'm still sharing my screen, right, Andrew?
Yes.
Okay. So you can see here that this is now the iGUIDE that we've created. Now, most people don't put a smug looking selfie here. They'll actually put a nice looking picture of the property, so that when you're in here, you can, visually differentiate between all your properties. But just keep in mind that we're in the kind of the preview mode right now. So it's usually the first picture that you take. It's usually the first image that appears in the gallery that gets shown here on the iGUIDE preview, or this little summary page. So at this point, again, you can see mine says test iGUIDE. That's just because we're internal, and we didn't really, I don't want to be billed for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit my property. And this is now kind of on the back side of the property. So configuring it the way you want it for consumption, whether you're going to be using it yourself, just getting the drawing files, sharing those with outside vendors, customizing this 3D environment, whatever it is, this is the back end of it, and which is why we call it managing your iGUIDE. And there's obviously, you can choose to do very little in here. You can simply ask for the DWG file, or you can customize this and make the user experience whatever you want. I'm going to just highlight a couple things about retrieving your content. And obviously that's what you paid for. So let's go do it. So the first thing is, once you've got your email and you're on the inside, you do have access to a very small preview. So there's, what was assembled together for your iGUIDE, and you can navigate, just your basic stuff, navigate through the dots on the floor, or navigate through, you can also see that I had hidden one of my panos, but you can see You can navigate around, you can rename things, you can rename floors. I think Andrew might go through a couple of those things, but you do get your view here at the bottom, or your viewer, but you can also kind of go to preview here, and then it kind of just pulls it up to the bigger part of the screen, and just a little bit more you can do. And you'll notice that hidden panel is gone. So you're actually previewing it as if you're the way you're going to see it in presentation mode. So that's, you're kind of being able to kind of again, that's why it's called preview, see what it looks on the backside before you do anything. So let's go in. So one of the things is you're going to be retrieving is looking at the environment before you share it or want to hide or delete things. And Andrew is going to go through that. But you'll notice down on the left-hand side is where you've got your two important areas. One is iGUIDE view links. So these are all the links to some of the content we've created for you. There's the one we talked about yesterday, which is called a metric DXF. You'll notice I have DXF and I have DWG here. So when you press this DXF file, again, it's going to go into the background, go into the portal. It's going to produce it and automatically give you a link, but download it and put it on your computer. And again, if I pick that and just unzip it, just to show you what happens is when you click on those links, a lot of things happen. And there's my floor plan. And again, I can go and view it any kind of way I want. So I'll just do that real quick. I'm just using a DWG, TrueView DWG viewer, which allows you to view DXF and DWG files. But there's essentially an example of the DXF file that was, again, linked into the background of my portal. That's what you had asked. One of the things we'd asked to be drafted. And the DXF does show all my scan locations and things like that. So back to the other view, you've got all these links in here. So if you wanted to create just a JPEG of your floor plan, again, it's already been created. Now it's going to retrieve it, download, and put it in your downloads folder. And notice you get imperial and metric this time, but this is how you get a really nice summary PDF of the drafted property. And this is really useful for products like Bluebeam or other third-party products that allow you to sketch up on top of PDF files. So there are a lot of people today walking around with, distal devices or tape measures and getting to this point so that you can, go and do your other applications or whatever you want to do with the floor plan. So down the left-hand side of the screen, you do have your metric floor plans, imperial floor plans. Let's just click on one to show you what happens. But these are kind of all your summary reports of your property, not just the drawing, but the summary of the square footage, the summary of the rooms, and things that you might want to share with people. So it automatically generates a property, kind of like a property or summary report for you. So I'll just talk about two more things real quick, and then I'm going to be handing it off to Andrew. So there's a couple of different graphics files that you can do. There's the DXF file, and if you ordered a DWG file, and if anybody remembers from yesterday, when you pick a DWG file, you have to set the units so we know if you want it in metric or imperial. And when you click on that, you obviously get it will just download the DWG file and away you go. I'm not going to do it again, but it gives you the idea of the working mechanism behind. Once we're inside of our iGUIDE, I can just go and retrieve the items that you want to play with. The last thing I'm going to talk about before we hand it over to Andrew is this offline iGUIDE view. There's a lot of people that use it and a lot of people that don't know about it or don't use it. So kind of a mix. When you click offline iGUIDE view, it's generating a zip file. Again, it's done in the background. It's going and processing it all and downloading it. And this is the way that you can actually view the property in an identical way that you view the iGUIDE now online, but without being connected to the portal. So you can actually host this on your own website, not just link to it, but you can host it on your own. You can put it on a Google Share drive. You can put it on a SharePoint drive. You can put it behind your own firewall or anything. And when it'll download the whole file. I'm just going to maximize my screen. Double click on it, and there's a shortcut in there, and they're all called index.html. And when you click on that, for anybody who's looked at iGUIDEs before, it's just spooling it up. It's going to give us the same. I don't think it finished downloading, but it's going to give you the same feel as if you had done it. Maybe I have to click on the wrong view. It's going to give you the same feel. Let's try it one more time. I'll have to try that while Andrew's doing his thing, but it allows you to download the property and view it offline. I didn't try that ahead of time, but normally that's the way it works. So at this point now, I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to hand it over to Andrew, and he's going to go through some of the advanced settings, advanced kind of intermediate level things within the iGUIDE portal. Take it away, Andrew.
Thanks, Rob. Let me just share my screen here. Screen 1 looks to be what I want to share. Let's do that. Do you mind just confirming that you can see the portal on my screen?
Yes.
You can. Excellent. All right. I'll just build off of the last point you made, and then I'll jump right into the points that I'm going to cover. And I will go rather quickly because there's a lot to cover, but I'll gladly circle back to anything that we need to. So just on the offline iGUIDEs, it's important to note that when you do download an iGUIDE for offline purposes, if there are any new updates on the portal, so if there's a new user interface that we've established, you won't have that. You'll have to re-download it. So whatever you download, it'll be as is at that time. So if 6 months down the road we've added new features, you can just simply re-download your. You'd have to re-download your iGUIDE in order to have those features if they are applicable to your iGUIDE. So without further delay, let's jump in. So let's go down my list here. Duplicate views. This is very useful. And let me just hide this up here. It's been a while since I've been on Zoom. So let's see if I can shrink this down just a little bit. That's a bit better for me. There we go. Okay. Is that still visible for you, Rob?
Yes.
Okay. So when you log in, and yours will look slightly different than mine. I've got an administrative view, but when you're going to click on my iGUIDEs, you can type in the address that you want to search. So in this case, I've got 401 New Dundee. In doing so, you'll pull up your iGUIDEs. Now, if you don't fill anything here, it'll just show you a list of all your iGUIDEs. And so if you've done several hundred, it's going to take a bit of time to search through them. So you may want to keep track of the iGUIDEs or the address for each iGUIDE so you can navigate to them quickly. When you do that, it's going to filter them out and it's going to pull up some information. So in this case, it's going to show who the manager is, the editors. It's going to give you the public URL. And in this case, we've got a duplicate view, and there's a public URL for that as well. So we are going to cover first and foremost duplicate views. So when you go into the iGUIDE, you would click on Edit, and I've got an edit screen here. So I'll actually just open a fresh one. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new tab after clicking Edit. And this is the page it's going to bring me to, the Edit View page. From here, you will see all sorts of options. You can view the tour, and there's a whole bunch of features that we're going to get into. But what you want to do is click on the title or the address. I've added a step here, but that's okay. And you're going to want to click on Duplicate. In doing so, you're going to see another feature show up here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we now have another iGUIDE available. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would I want to do this? Well, let's say for the primary, you want to have nothing visible at all. So you've hidden all the panos and no one can see anything beyond a floor plan. But perhaps your client says, hey, I would like to be able to walk around and virtually tour my space. And that's where the duplicate iGUIDE will come in. You will navigate to your duplicate iGUIDE. You would click on Edit. And under the general settings, you would click on Edit again. And you'd scroll down to the very bottom. And this is where all the magic happens. So in your duplicate iGUIDE, you would have the option to hide all the panos. And you'll be notified that you're going to hide all of the panos. This is what it will look like. All of the panos will become red. You'll see this little notification on every single pano saying that it's disabled. And so nothing beyond the floor plan will become visible. Um, you can show all panels. If you find that your floor plan is zoomed out too much or zoomed in too much, there's this feature here. So this is our zoom feature. I'm going down my list carefully so as not to skip over too much. And this will allow you to kind of pick the spot that fits best for your floor plan. So if I click on this here, there's a little magnifying glass with the arrows. You're going to see it's highlighted. Using the 3-button scroll wheel mouse, you can scroll in to zoom in or scroll out to zoom out, and you pick your preferred spot. Once you've picked a spot that you feel kind of matches what you want it to look like, you would just scroll to the Actions tab here, or the drop-down, and you would click on Set Initial Zoom. So that would be right here. And then once you've done that, you just click on Save, and you'll see that it zooms in. Now, if I, for example, zoomed it in like this, for whatever reason I want this to be the spot that it zooms into, I would set that as the initial zoom. Click Save, and when this version loads up, it'll zoom into that particular spot. So there might be use cases for that. It really depends on your needs. Now, sharing is important. You can share it from here. So in the Edit View page, there's a little share button. You can copy the link. That's really all you need for the most part. However, you also have social media. You can email it. There's quite a number of options from there. If you're looking at the iGUIDE as if you are a viewer, so let's just say your client says, hey, I'd like to share this iGUIDE. This is a locked iGUIDE, so probably not the best example. Let's see if we can have an example that is not locked. Let me just pull this up here. This one's not locked. Okay, so this is what your client would see, for example. And they would click on the share button, and they can share it to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or they can just copy the link, and that'll allow them to share it. So that's our share button. Very quick and easy to use. Very, very practical.
Andrew, can we back up for a second?
We sure can. Yep.
Can you just go back to the plain screen where you duplicated the iGUIDE?
Absolutely. So let's go back there. I'll just go back this way. All right. Yes, this is an important one. So question away.
I'm going to ask some basic questions on this.
Absolutely.
Is there a limit to this?
No limit. You can make as many duplicate iGUIDEs as you like.
Am I charged for them?
They are absolutely free.
Can you give me an example or a couple examples why I would duplicate something?
Let's say you've captured a space and you only want to have the front foyer, the main entrance, visible to the public. So someone could walk in the front door and take a look around the lobby. You can create a version where only that panel is visible. However, you may want to create another one where, let's say, a back utility room is visible so that you can send it to a contractor who's going to go and work in the utility room so they can only see that utility room. Perhaps there's some basement storage for, supply management. So you can make certain panels visible in certain locations and create a duplicate version for each purpose.
So can you do an example? And you're the smart one here, so I can put you on the spot. Can you do an example like on that right-hand one, where if I wanted to just share a room, how would you go about making just that room visible and then sharing just that property with just that room visible?
That's a great example that we can put together. So we're looking at our duplicates here. I would click on Edit. It'll bring me to this page where I click on General Settings, the Edit button on the far right side.
Yeah.
I'll scroll down until I see the virtual tour. Fastest way to do this is I'm going to click Actions. I'm going to click Hide All Panels. You're going to be notified that it's going to disable all panels on this floor. I click on Confirm. And then we pick our panel that we want to show. Let's just say we want to show just the reception area. I'm going to double click on the panels that I want to show. So I'm going to double click on this one, and you see the notification goes away. I'm going to double click on this one and this one, and then I'm going to click Save. And now I'm going to see an example of this iGUIDE. Oh, this one is locked. That's right. So now this entire floor, so anyone who gets a link to this iGUIDE, they'll see the floor plan, but the only visible panels for them would be the ones that we have chosen to enable. In this case, it's the reception area.
Okay.
I can do another example if it gives a better view. Perhaps I'll use this other iGUIDE that was visible. So let's just go ahead and do that. And when you're looking at your iGuides, let's just say you've got your public view. You can click on these three dots here and click on manage, and that'll bring you to your portal, and that'll give you your access if you're not already on manage.youriguide.com. All right, so I'll do one more example because that one was locked. I'd like to show you a publicly available one. So let's say I click on duplicate. I click on our newly created one. I click edit again, scroll down to the bottom. And let's just say I want to hide an entire floor because we've got 2 floors here. We don't want to show this area for whatever reason. I click on this little pencil here. I disable the check mark that says show in the iGuide. You're given a notification that says this floor will not be shown. I click OK. Again, it notifies you. You click confirm, save, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on open. And now let's click here. And this is the public iGuide for this duplicate version. So it only shows me this. Now you'll notice there's no floor selector because we disabled that floor. So you can hide entire floors from the public view.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. So you saw that I disabled that floor. We know that there's a second floor here and it's appearing in red, but because we disabled it, so it'll give us a notification here saying this floor is disabled. This floor will not be shown. But when I actually click on the public iGuide, that entire floor doesn't even show up. So it's as if that floor is not even there as far as the public is concerned, or to whomever has that link.
So can I get you to, on that floor, like go back in and on the floor that we can see?
Yep.
It just disable kind of all the panels, but like a reception area.
Sure thing. Yep.
Just so we can show that, because that's a really, when we poll our users, they say that's a really powerful feature for sharing their properties with outside vendors, outside contractors.
Yep. So let's say we just showed just the one panel. So I've hidden everything here. I'm saving the progress. Now that it's saved, this is the same iGuide. I've made changes now, so I'm going to click refresh. And you can see that all those panels are currently available, but as soon as I hit refresh, because we've made the change, you can still see the floor plan, but none of those panels are now available. So now you can walk in the front door, and that's it. You cannot navigate anywhere else that you don't want anyone to be able to navigate to.
Okay, great. Thank you. I mean, I think it's something that's really easy to configure once you get used to that duplicate and hiding your panels.
Yes.
And I think it's so you kept bumping into the issue of it being locked there. Can you maybe just describe, where we came from in talking about yesterday with protected and locked?
Yes. So a locked iGuide could happen for 2 reasons. One is that the manager or the owner of the iGuide has gone and clicked on the lock button, and I'll get back to why they might do that. And the other option would be that it's expired. So the iGuide is set to expire 1 year out from the date of publication. You can change the expiration at any time, and there's no cost to that at the moment for extensions of iGuides. And you can do that through the settings here, which I'll show you in a moment. But when you click on lock, you can also create an unlisted view. So this is very popular in real estate. So they want to lock an iGuide, but they still want to be able to share that particular home. There are many use cases for this outside of real estate as well. So if I click lock and create an unlisted view, it's going to give you a new URL. Now, there is the caveat that when you duplicate an iGuide, you cannot customize the URL. And I'll go back and show why that may be significant. So in this case here, we've got yard 41 Bearcats. So that's a custom URL. So you can share that and people can utilize that as they like. When you do a duplicate iGuide, it randomly generates it and it cannot be edited. It's not that big a deal because most people will embed these links or hyperlink them in text when they're sharing them.
So we had a question while we're on this topic of duplicating and having multiple iGuides. We had a question from the audience about, is there a way to rename each duplicate set? So
that's a good question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so at the moment, no. This would be something that if you were to do this, and let's say you want to create 50 duplicate versions, for example, you're going to break up a large space into small sections and have each duplicate iGuide with only certain points available. What I would recommend is you open up, Google Sheet or Microsoft Excel, and just have each hyperlink described via text, and just hyperlink the text. Through the portal, we cannot change the names so that you can distinguish which one is which, you'll want to have that set up in your own system. I think that would be the best way that I can think of how to differentiate between each version.
So the one way that I know of where you've got that Midwestern Ontario Bearcats text.
Yep.
Right in the middle on your second or on your first duplicate, if you go up there, you've got that text there. So you can add text per duplicate item. So if you had edit there on that one.
Oh yeah, you jogged my memory as well. I've actually seen someone do this where they've added a gallery image for each one.
No,
so you want me to click edit here?
Yep.
Okay.
And just hit edit.
I must have clicked it. There we go.
There you go. See how in that title, just change that title to be duplicate 1 example.
Yeah. All right, and we'll click save.
And then if you go back to your views, you'll scroll down.
Oh, this will actually show up. Well, I've learned something today. There we go. Fantastic.
So, and I was asked this by a contractor, somebody who was asking me, hey, I want to send one property to a plumbing contractor and another one to a drywall. And for some reason, he didn't want them to be shared or anything or duplicate, like they were different.
Yep.
So he actually just named them by the stage of construction they were at and who they were being sent to.
This is perfect. Yeah.
So if you went, just for fun, just go to the third one and then say
example 3 or example 2.
So I hope that's the only way right now that we can differentiate them by just changing the name on that screen. So I hope that answered your question or gave you an option of how to help you manage that. But as Andrew said, you may just need an Excel sheet or something to further do things. But if you just change the title, they do get saved on that screen. And it's just a simple way to help you manage all your duplicates.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you could definitely do it the way you just proposed, Rob. That's really good.
Excellent. So yeah. I apologize for interrupting the flow, but
no. I prefer the back and forth questions. It's quite helpful, and I want to make sure we get through everyone's questions too. Okay, let's circle back to sharing with people and clients. So we've done that. Let's go to setting your panel branding image. There's a lot to cover, so I don't want to go too long into this one. There's details. We've got, of course, we've got lots of training material for panel branding. Let's go back here. Oops, I'm clicking the wrong one. Here we go. So you've got your panel branding here. So what that is when you look down at the ground, you're going to have your information, perhaps. You're going to have your contact info or your logo, company name, website, you name it. That's where the panel branding image comes into play. You'll have this here. It does have the recommended size, and we've got resources that go really into detail of how you can maximize your usage of this. This could take 20, 30 minutes in itself because there's ways you can make it transparent and whatnot. So I won't dive too much into that. Setting the initial zoom, we have done that already, but I'll quickly cover that one more time. So when you're looking at your iGUIDE in the edit view page, again, you want to zoom in or have it zoomed in or out. You just scroll in, scroll out after clicking the magnifying glass with the arrows. After you've made any changes though, make sure you click set initial zoom and then hit save. If you don't hit save, obviously it's not going to work. It's not going to do anything. You're going to have to redo it. Let's see, packages and add-ons. All right, so once you have your iGUIDE created and you didn't select something during the creation page or process, you can actually go to the packages and add-ons on the left side of your screen in your iGUIDE. So you can do this per iGUIDE. You click on packages and add-ons, and you can add on these paid add-ons. You can include free add-ons as well. Floor plan is something I'm going to quickly touch on, so I may as well click on that. It's not going to let me click on it, probably because this is a unique one. So let's find an iGUIDE that has floor planner. got my other screen here. Okay. Floor planner is not going to play nicely. Oh, there's we go. There we go. Okay, so floor planner, very quickly, when you've selected under the packages and add-ons and you've selected floor planner, for example, you'll have this tab here available to you. When you click on it, this is a large iGUIDE, so it might take a moment to load. There we go. You'll be prompted with this screen here. Floorplanner.com, they are a separate entity. So we're able to support you as far as ensuring that your project can be exported and that it downloads properly. But the usage of Floor Planner is something that is going to be a self-learning process. They do have their own support that they're able to help you with how to use their system and whatnot. But just bear that in mind. So once you're on the Floor Planner page, it's going to ask you what building do you want to export. We're going to click on our main building. We click on export. And then so long as you've logged in, it'll export your project. Let's see if it's going to do it for me. I don't recall logging in before. Yeah, let me just do that really quickly here.
Before you go on after floor planner, we had just another question from the field. So just finish that up and then I'll ask.
You can ask the question now. I'll try and multitask here.
On the panel branding image.
Yes.
Is there a way to make it transparent?
Yes. So we have it's a bit involved, but you can have it so that you have to use a PNG file, and you have to set the opacity in a certain way. We have training material on how to do that. The best way would be to create a ticket. I don't like to do that during a webinar to redirect anyone to a ticket, but we can give you that resource and you can keep it in your back pocket so that you can have it, it's 2 a.m. and you're trying to get something done and you need some resources available. Let me see if I have anything that I can pull open here for you though.
We can address that after, Andrew.
Later? Okay.
But we can do it, then we know who's asked the question and we can make sure, or we'll send that to everybody who's joined today.
Yeah, it's doable, but it's a bit involved. So yeah, we'll save that for another time. Yeah. All right, so floor planner, I've got it logged in now. So let's go ahead and click on export. Let's see, it should work this time. And it's a big project, so it may not work, but actually it is working. Okay, so you'll see a notification here. It says it was successfully created. Click here to open it. I'm not going to get into what it looks like beyond its quick 3D rendering. Perhaps I can do a quick one here.
So while you're doing that, I'll just
Sure.
explain. Floor Planner is just a third-party software that will convert our 2D floor plans into their framework and allow you to create 3D scenes and allow you to add furniture, add wall colors and paint, and basically take our generic floor plan and do more studio type things with them. And there's a very basic version of it that's a freebie, but then there's advanced versions as well. So again, it's more, you'd have to find out if it works for you. We're not here to promote it or sell it. It's just we've developed an output for it and we don't charge for that conversion. It just says, hey, here's your floor. Here, take our floor plan and go create it in Floor Planner, and the rest is up to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, which one are we at? This one. Okay, so Floor Planner was checked off of our list here. So now our next one is Google Street View. So when you go to your packages and add-ons, you'll see the free add-on Google Street View is one of them. Make sure it's checked off so that you can see it on the side here. Once you see the Google Street View, go ahead and click on it. It'll say create new project. There is a process involved. I won't follow through the entire thing, but it'll give you a general overview of what to expect. You would click start. This process can take anywhere between 5 and 10 business days. If you're going to be linking this to a business, you'll want to make sure that business is registered with Google so that it appears on Google Maps, because that'll allow someone to navigate from Google Street View from Google Street View into the property and then do a virtual tour of that. I could look for an example if we really need, but basically this process will allow someone to do that.
Let's do that real quick. I know. I'm sure you do too. There's a very easy one to show.
Yes. Let me close this here. Ooh, I've got too many tabs open now. Let's go to, actually, I know which one exactly. It's, oops, I'm about to go to maps. And it's the record store. Kitchener, actually. Encore Records. There we go. So we're going to zoom in. If you've exported it correctly, and let's maximize the screen here. And we're going to grab our little person, and you'll see, you pull the person over here, and you're going to see all the little panos here. So these are all the panos that the operator took once they were inside. So if we go, let's just say we go onto the street itself, we're going to look over, and you're going to see Encore Records, and it says see inside. This is added after because not all of them have this, you'll see. But if you click on see inside, we'll navigate from Google Street View directly inside the store. Whatever their initial pano is where we're going to be directed to. And now we can navigate inside the store. So this has a lot of value for many of your customers. And depending on which panos have been made available, it allows the user from Google Street View to navigate directly into their space.
That's cool.
Yeah. Any questions on that, on Google Street integration? Before I close this off here.
Again, we don't charge for it. It's just a link and pushing our content out to another platform. But you've got to have, your own Gmail account, your own way to upload the photos. We're just providing a link to that account and then pushing the content upwards. One of the advantages of that they do when you push when they finally publish it, as Andrew said, their contract says 5 to 10 business days. Realistically, it's usually 1 to 2, but they automatically blur computer screens and faces and license plates. So there is some, if you ever publish marketing material, let's say for outside or for consumption that way, it's already gone through their software scrubbing tools as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got our next on the list is upload gallery images. All right, so your iGuide's been processed, it's finished, it's live, you can navigate around, and you want to add some gallery images. You'll notice on the quick access in your iGuide, there's the iGuide gallery. From here, once you've selected it, you're going to see the drag and drop option, and you can add them here. So let me just see if I've got some examples on my other screen. Doesn't really matter what we use here. I have a random picture of a beach. Let's say, why not? We just click. So you've got your window open. You just click and drag, and you'll see that they're loading, 1 of 2. And that's it. You'll see them loaded. You'll see them under the gallery images section there. And now what that will look like once they're completed is when you go to your edit default view. You click on edit, you're now going to have the option for photos. So if you've taken still images while you're on site as well, you can add those. Really adds more value to your tour. So if there's anything you want to highlight, you definitely want to add some additional images. Or if you've just taken some shots outside, anything really.
So, one of the advantages with that is if you've got additional content like pictures, that you can manage it all in one place. You don't have to have your iGuide on the internet and then photos on your hard drive or that. You can have it all contained, and we don't charge for that storage. It's just all there as part of your iGuide.
And what was next on our list? Embedding the iGuide into your own website. Great. This one is good too. So once you're on your iGuide, we'll select this one again. On the left side of your screen, you just scroll down until you see embedding tool. So you go ahead and click on that. You're going to have some basic options here, but most importantly, this is what you'll want. If you're planning to use WordPress, you would just click embed iGuide in WordPress. Otherwise, you just click on copy and you'll paste this code into your website. So if, for example, you're using Wix or Weebly or any of those main platforms, for the most part, they shouldn't be incompatible with this code here. I can't think of an instance in which the code wouldn't work. And then you'll have your preview. Obviously, you don't want to be using a locked iGUIDE. And let me see here. Oh, we got a Q&A. Okay. Are we having questions come in there, Rob? I see there's 7 questions.
We've answered them all.
We've answered them all. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not ignoring them. Okay. Let's see here. Changing the URL. Great. So when you click on the property address, you'll see the URL is over here. You're gonna have a little pencil here. If you click on that, you're gonna have the option to change the URL. Again, this cannot be changed for the duplicate iGUIDEs, just the main iGUIDE. And you can name it almost anything you want. There is a character limit. I don't know exactly how many characters, but this is a great way for you to uniquely identify a space and keep track of your URLs in any way that you see fit. Hiding panos. Now we did cover this. I'll do a quick overview one more time, just because it is an important one. So when you're in the edit view section, as we've been navigating to frequently now, all you have to do is double click on a panel. So this panel here, if I double click on it, it'll see right now it's hidden. If I double click on it, it's now visible so long as I hit save. But if I've scrolled in, you'll notice if I double click on it, see it currently is green, little dot inside. If I double click on it, kind of goes red there. So it's one way to indicate that it's hidden. Or you'll also notice these other panels, they don't have that green halo around it. It's just a little red dot with the green halo around it. So those will show that it's disabled.
So we do have a question about the previous topic.
Changing URL. Yes, go ahead.
If you change the main name and you previously shared the URL, then you should reshare the new URL. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, good. So it's 10:02, so we've only got 10 minutes left, and I wanted to make sure we covered off 2 more things that I think are more important than the few small things we had on your list, the one last thing we had on your list. So I want, and I'm going to ask you and put you on the spot, but I know
okay.
That's right. I've just got my email. I've just got my link from Planetar that my iGUIDE is finished. I'm ready to go. I want to, when I'm managing my iGUIDE, I want to make sure of 2 things. I want to make sure that the world is not seeing it, that it's only me and who I'm about to share it to. So what would you do? How would you make sure of that?
Very good question. All right. So first and foremost, when you are creating your iGUIDE, I'm gonna start with that process first. When you're creating your iGUIDE, if you know in advance you do not want it shared, you can select commercial. By default, commercial units are going to be set as protected. Therefore, it will not be indexed by Google. No one can access it unless you give them access directly. And I'll get into that momentarily. If, for example, you're doing residential and you do want to have access it immediately, but you want to change it later on, then what you would do is in your iGUIDE itself, you would go to the edit default view page. Actually, I'll just start from here. This is what you'll see. You click on edit, and then you're in your edit page. Scroll down to where it says protected. When you select this option, you're going to see where it says viewers. This is where you're going to add in emails. Now, it's important to note that if you want to give only one person access, for example, or even 3 people, they need a portal account. Portal account is free. They're just set up as users. They need to be set up as users first on the portal, and then you can add their email. They will be able to view this iGUIDE and no one else. Now, you could set up a protected iGUIDE. You could lock the iGUIDE, as I'm about to do, and you can create an unlisted view. So no one can search for this unless they know the exact URL. So if you share this with someone and they share it with someone else, that secondary person would have access, but there would be no login requirements. And it will not be searchable unless, of course, they know the exact URL. Is that a fair answer? Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's great. So it's not visible to the outside world. It's only visible to the people that we end up sharing it with. But if they share it with 10 million people, all those 10 million can see it. So is there any way I can time bomb that to say, hey, I know I'm going to have this open, that some contractors are going to look at it for 3 to 5 days till their bids are in, but do I have any other additional control over that?
Yes, that's a great question. So let's just say I've got my example here. So my duplicate version. Let's just say I lock my main one, and I'm going to share my duplicate iGUIDE. I'm going to click on edit, and I'm going to click on edit again. I didn't click on it the first time, that doesn't help. And I'm going to change the expiration date. I'm going to share it with my contractor, and I'm going to tell him or her, you have until next Wednesday to review this. I'm going to set the expiration to next Wednesday on the calendar. That means that as of Wednesday, that iGUIDE is going to auto lock and no one can access it.
Okay, cool. Cool.
And of course, I'm going to hit save after I've set the date. Always hit save. Just want to make sure that that point's clear. Does that answer that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So if anybody has any questions, we just really wanted to promote your awareness and making sure that you get these settings right, that that you don't want it published to the world. And some people do. So if you're an agent or somebody that just doesn't care, as long as you leave it unprotected, the world will see it, meaning you can go in front of your property and type in the address and it will appear on Google about 24 hours later. But if you don't want it shown to the world, make sure it's protected. But if I need to share it with contractor A, Andrew's just shown you how to do that. And if you're going to be sharing it with 10 contractors to bid on a job, put on a timestamp so you know it's not open forever, that there's a window for people to view the property.
And I know I was covering everything rather quickly, speaking very quickly. I was just trying to make sure I covered everything in a very short amount of time, because there's quite a lot to dive into there.
So we do have another question in the window about time, so I'll just ask it now. From the field, the question is, if a year has passed and I forgot to keep it open, is there a way to reopen an iGUIDE?
Yes. So the short answer is yes. All you have to do is, same as before, when you go under your the My iGUIDE section, type in the address for the iGUIDE that's locked. You have to be under manage.youriGUIDE.com first and foremost, and you log in. Then you go into your My iGUIDES, you type in the address, and you're going to go down to edit. You're going to go to the general settings. You're going to click edit again. And you're simply going to change the date. So in all likelihood, let's just say it's expired. It's been 3 months. You didn't notice it because you didn't need to access it. The date is going to be the date that it expired. So you just simply click on it. You click whatever date you want, and you can select the year that you want it to expire, the month, the day, whichever. But yes, you can change the date at any time. You just log in and go to the edit view section and make those changes.
So hopefully that answered your question. I don't think we want to do any more new content, Andrew.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd like to do this because if you're a new user out there and you're just getting started with our products, we hope we didn't overwhelm you, because we're showing you all the things you can do. It's not all the things you have to do. You obviously have to be very conscious of security and making sure it's protected. That's item number one. You have to make sure you know how to share the property. But the most important thing, in my opinion, is knowing how to retrieve what you paid for us to do for you. And that's where I started off. And that's where on the lower left-hand side are all those links to the floor plans, the PDF files, the images, generating the summary report, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really important, and that you know how to bounce in and out of managing the iGUIDE and then actually just viewing it as a property. So, Andrew, I'm going to get you to do one more thing on the spot.
Absolutely.
You've been looking, all of our views for the last 56 minutes have been looking in behind and configuring our iGUIDE. How would I create just a shortcut to how do I look at it like in full view and save that property kind of like as a shortcut in my browser?
Good question. So one thing you could do is, if let's just say you're viewing your iGuide, you could just do a quick favorite. That's the most straightforward way. The alternative would be you click on share, and you can either click on copy and email yourself that link.
Okay.
Or email it, or click on the email and email it to, this would be to the person who's created the iGuide. But the most simple way would be you click on share, click on copy for the URL, and just email yourself that link.
Okay. So, because that's retrieving the drawings, measuring, downloading the PDF, download the DWG, setting your security, I think is probably what you're going to be concentrating on 50 to 75% of the time. There are other users that really want to, use it at a much higher level, and you'll get there if you're a new user. It just takes some playing with. It's not that difficult. We're showing you a lot here just to show you some of the examples, but essentially, once you know how to download your content, share the properties, share it in a full view in your browser, I think you'll get the idea, and it makes it real quick and really easy to share. So at this time, it's 2:58. We're not going to do any more new stuff. Andrew, thank you so much for contributing this afternoon, and you're way better at it than I am. And if there are any other questions from the field, we'll take them now. We'll leave the webinar open for a few more minutes and answer anybody's questions that come in. We do have the YouTube links that we're going to be sharing on Monday of all 5 days. And hopefully by using the content that's already on our webpage, by using the 5 YouTube videos that we've put together this week, that you'll have no problems, not just getting started, but in your life of using the product. And we want you to use it a lot. We know the value of it, and we hope you will too. So again, this has been kind of our first experiment into this, but we're going to be, Andrew's volunteered to do it again.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it.
And there's lots more things that we do need to cover. And we'll be doing those, such as maybe doing a special one on measuring modes, measuring in between modes 1 and modes 3 are the most popular questions. But and tagging, maybe I'll throw one. You can tag in post as well. We haven't even mentioned this, but you can place. We talked on Monday about using the survey app to create tags on the property. We never even really talked about tags today, but you can tag you can tag in post as well. So if you forgot to take pictures while you're on site, if you forgot to do stuff, you can always tag in post, meaning go around the room, click on I want to tag there, link in a photo, link in a drive, save it, and then click on the tags button, and they all appear. So there's a lot to do with there's a lot underneath the hood with the product. We're continually making it better and adding more features, and Andrew's just live doing a tag there. But it's just an example of, we can't shove everything into an hour. And if you would like to suggest other topics, we are more than happy to put these together, and we're going to be doing more of them. So the hour's up. There's no more questions. If there's anybody that has any questions, you can reach out to us after. As Andrew said, you can open up a support ticket, and we're going to end it here. So thank you very much for everyone participating this week. We hope you got a lot out of it. Thanks again to Andrew for your support on this. And we look forward to working with all of you in the future. So have a great day. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, thanks. Talk to you soon.
Bye for now.